If you do what everyone else is doing, you will get the same results that everyone else is getting. Now, Maria and I, my wife, we've decided to live our lives a little bit differently from the majority because we've seen far too often a good bulk of people doing the same thing and getting, if they continue doing what they're doing, they're going to get to retirement and they're going to have some issues. All right, so let's get a little bit granular on how we run our lives. So I haven't upgraded my Suzuki Swift car. I bought it brand new in 2007, haven't sold it yet. Love the car, gets me from point A to point B. The only time I'm ever going to upgrade it is now that Maria and I, we're trying for children. So obviously we need a little bit bigger car there. Then we talked about buying an owner-occupied house in my area that would have cost between 1.2 to 1.6 for an entry-level home, so 1.2 million to 1.6 million in our area, or we could have gone to like a Newcastle market and gotten something between 4 to 500,000, which is what we chose. Our original plan was to move up to Newcastle after the purchase 12 months later and then move up there, live there, knowing that it's much cheaper, knowing that my income's still the same, and then obviously that's going to be cheaper than the rent that we're paying in Sydney, and then use the difference to go and buy more investment properties. We've switched that up a little bit. We're actually going to be moving up to the Gold Coast and renting out an apartment there, rent investing. And buying investment properties. So I bought the first one in Newcastle, I bought the second and the third one in Brisbane, one in the west, one in the south of Brisbane, and I'm buying the fourth one in March, most likely in the south, but a little bit closer to the CBD. Okay, so the next 6 to 12 months we're going to move from Sydney up to the Gold Coast to be a little bit closer to family and, you know, trying for some children. Okay, then let's look at how we view credit cards. So right now I could have a 20 grand credit card, I could be running points, and I could be running it under the business, but we've chosen not to. We just don't need a credit card. Okay, we can operate out of cash, and we've chosen not to. And from a borrowing power standpoint, that is going to help us. It's only going to be maybe a 50 or 60 grand difference on borrowing power, but each little bit counts. Okay, now on our living expenses standpoint, my income went up 3 to 4 times after I left the Commonwealth Bank, but our living standards and living expenses have stayed pretty much the same, let's be honest. We're not too frugal, we enjoy experiences, we go out for dinner every now and then, but we don't have a boat, we don't have a 50 or 100 grand car. We walk up to the shops together regularly. We don't have 3 gym memberships that we don't use. There isn't a whole lot of excess in our budget. So from that standpoint, we are quite frugal, and a lot of the money that comes in does go out as far as investment property purchases. So that's just a few things, you know, how we're running our lives that's different to other people. So most likely what's going to happen is we're going to buy investment properties until we're maxed out. I'm going to run that for the next kind of 5 to 7 years, and then I'm going to use that to buy Maria's goal or end property in one go in cash. That's what we're trying to do. So we're going to get to about 9 to 12 properties inside of the next kind of 3 years, give or take, and then buying 1 or 2 properties a year after that, depending on the lending restrictions and what access to lending I have, or we've got to start putting things down in cash, and then use the portfolio to get the end goal property that we want. So that's what we're doing differently to a lot of other people. Alright, so really hope that you've enjoyed this video. We'll see you on the next one, and we'll just get a little bit more granular on what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and making sure you're aware of, you know, what my goals are as far as building the portfolio out. Alright, we'll see you on the next video.